guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. Hi guys and welcome to another vlog. I am riding the Suzuki Gixxer 155 and of course we have the Yamaha FZ version 3 with us for company. So straight away let me tell you that this speaker here on the FZ is kind of weird. Okay, it's not a speaker but it's a fake air intake, and I mean, what were they thinking? Anyways, the design of the FZ looks nice because it seems to be inspired from, of course, the FZ25. Meanwhile, the dog looks really cute. So getting back to the motorcycles, they're very similar. You know why? Because FZ actually pioneered this segment and Suzuki decided, oh well, let's do one thing, let's just copy them outright. So you know, everything on this motorcycle, the underpinnings, the cycle parts are very similar to the one on the FZ. In fact, the tires on both these motorcycles are exactly the same in terms of size, make and whatnot. So yeah, there's not much to choose, but the Gixxer has got an update now. So it gets a new LED headlight. The LEDs are nice and bright, but the indicators are still not LEDs, so that's cost cutting right there. And these are 41mm telescopic forks, and the bike does look very nice and sporty. In fact, gets a lot of cuts and creases, which looks very nice, but certain elements have been carried over, like of course this twin port exhaust with the chrome treatment looks nice, but it misses out on a belly pan, which by the way the Gixxer 250 gets. And of course it says Gixxer Suzuki logo there, SEP for Suzuki Eco Performance, and there's an FI badge on the other side as well. Ground clearance, well, we'll talk about that when we start riding this motorcycle, but as you can see, the motorcycle feels a bit too plasticky. Yeah, it's a bit too plasticky, so build quality isn't that great. I like the rear tail light. Oh, the tail light is always rear, Faisal. Yeah, I like that LED. Again, indicators are not LED here, and that is the tire hugger, and of course, or rather the mud guard, and that is the sari guard on this motorcycle. So the alloy wheels are slightly different. It has lesser spokes when you compare it to the Gixxer 250, and overall design of this motorcycle definitely looks quite nice. It says fuel injection right there. Now this is the FZ, and I do not like the console of this motorcycle. It just doesn't look right. It kind of feels small, and it misses out on crucial information as well. It does get a clock though, single piece seat. It gets a split seat setup. So both of them were copying each other, and they, you know, kind of messed up, because earlier the FZ had a split seat setup and this one had a single seat. So both of them decided, okay, let's do one thing, let's do what you have done and let's do what you have done, and you know, now it's completely different on both these motorcycles when compared to each other, just like the case with the pre-updated models. So anyways, as you can see, the motorcycle does look nice and sporty. Tank feels chunky. Tank is chunky here also. But I'll tell you one eyesore on this motorcycle. Alright, when you open this, yeah, it comes in the hand. That is really very upsetting for a motorcycle which costs rupees 1,16,000. Meanwhile, on the Gixxer, there's no such problem because it gets a hinge. Now, of course, you can see the handlebar isn't as wide as on the FZ. The mirrors are useless because with the riding jacket on, you can't clearly see what's behind. And let's quickly turn on the console. So when you turn it on, there you see, yup, it is just better. It says go, it has a gear position indicator, it has a clock. The clock shows here. There you have to toggle this cluster to actually see the clock. You get everything digital here. So there's a tachometer, there's a speedometer, gear position indicator, it's telling you warning like oil change, and of course the odometer, and you can browse through this for the twin trip meters. Meanwhile, this is the clock, this is the fuel meter, and telltale lights are placed all over. So certainly a good looking motorcycle with plenty of useful features as well. That is the Suzuki Gixxer 155. This motorcycle is slightly underpowered, but both of these brands seem to be hand in glove. Yeah, one second. Hand in glove with each other, because what Yamaha does, Suzuki does, and vice versa, because Yamaha reduced power on the FZ and Suzuki did the same. But anyways, let's get riding straight away. As you can see, the performance is quite brisk by 150cc standards. Now the Suzuki Gixxer is powered by a 155cc motor. It's an air-cooled motor. It gets 2 valves, and of course performance is quite punchy. It's a fuel-injected motor, produces 14.1 PS of power. Meanwhile, torque output is also 14 Newton meters. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour takes around 16.5 seconds, and overall performance is punchy in the city. It has got a good low end. The mid-range is obviously stronger here, and it also has a top end, because yeah, compared to 150cc motorcycles, it actually screams all the way to the red line, which happens to be 10,000 rpm, but it struggles post 100 kilometers per hour because of the lack of power, and the ride is on the stiffer side, which can be felt, of course. And because of that, you know, this is not a very comfortable motorcycle. They have actually stiffened the ride a bit because the ground clearance was an issue. So by stiffening up the suspension, it will have less sort of a movement over bad roads, thereby not actually scraping anything underneath, which was the case earlier on. So here you see The gearbox is smooth shifting, although it's not the smoothest gearbox in the segment, but it does offer smooth shifts. The clutch is not the lightest, but still is quite decent as well. Now here we are into first gear. Brakes are really strong, really very good. This guy will inch 1 till that signal does not go green. Trust me on this. See, there he goes. And there we go. First gear 41 kilometers per hour, second gear 66, and the motor does sound loud and sporty in a very good way. I like the sound of this engine. The motorcycle is quite nimble. Actually, the seat height is slightly more than the Yamaha FZ, but it suits tall riders a lot. The center set foot pegs are fine for commuting, but overall there is a lot of wind blast as you get past 100 kilometers per hour. The mirrors don't offer a good view of what's behind. The shape of the mirrors is only wrong, I feel. Meanwhile, it gets a single channel ABS unit. The top speed of this motorcycle is 120 kilometers per hour, although a rear channel would be a welcome move considering this is the most pricey motorcycle in the segment. Yet there's good amount of feedback, although you have to actually get a little bit harder on the brake to stop hard and fast. So here we are. Feels really nice, nimble, and you know, you can actually pick this motorcycle from higher gears because of the punchy nature of this motor. So straight away I am into fifth gear, opening throttle, and it's picking up pace decently. Sounds nice and engaging. I love the engagement this motorcycle has to offer because the handling is really very nice. The tires offer great amount of grip, and of course it feels sure-footed, gives good amount of feel and feedback as well. And for the most part, this is a motorcycle which will put a big smile on your face as far as riding goes, because the engine is definitely very nice and punchy. The handling is great. The cycle parts are premium enough, gets a rear monoshock, and for the most part I have no complaints as far as the ride of this motorcycle goes in terms of fun and good road riding. However, get onto a bad road and you realize that the stiff suspension is a bit of an issue because it hurts your back, so you really can't ride hard and fast, or rather you can't even ride at a moderate pace over bad roads because it's just not comfortable. And brakes are superb. It's absolutely great braking performance. Love the brakes on this motorcycle. Maneuvering no problem in the city. It's so nimble and agile as well. Here we go. Why is the shift light not working right now? No idea, but it obviously gets a shift light as well. Punchy performance. Fuel economy is between 35 to 40 kilometers per liter. It gets a 12-liter fuel tank. It also gets a main stand, by the way, which I didn't speak about when I was doing the walk around. Switchgear quality is good. There's not much to talk about as far as the switchgear goes, although for this price I would expect Suzuki to give slightly more power. They shouldn't have reduced it from 14.8 PS which was there earlier, because that motorcycle felt livelier. Although the difference isn't drastic, this motorcycle actually weighs 140 kgs, which again isn't much. It weighs around 6 to 8 kgs less than its SF sibling. So what else has Suzuki changed on this particular motorcycle? Well, you know what, they have also made revisions to the hardware. So they've strengthened the suspension, like I told you, they made it stiffer, and they've also increased the size of the tube of the chassis, or rather the frame. And brakes, really nice. I can keep praising the brakes all day long because they are so good on this motorcycle. So for city duties, this is an apt motorcycle. In fact, this motorcycle is so good that it can be ridden out on the highway. Now, it has been a lot of praises for this motorcycle, but there are certain things not to like I obviously told you. The ride quality isn't that great. The horn is decent, I would say, although dual horns would be a great addition to this motorcycle, but I'm not too sure for the city it really needs two horns to cause more noise pollution. And maneuverability, super. It's so freaking amazing the way the motorcycle actually grips you, offers you confidence to push it hard and fast. And of course, every time I get into the brakes, I just praise it. There is slightly bit of more lever action required here, but you know, you won't complain because stopping power is kind of immediate. So it's very progressive in the sense that it doesn't activate all of a sudden, but once it activates, it just stops you right in your tracks. So the big question, like in the start of this video, which is the motorcycle should you buy? Should you buy the FZ? Should you buy the Gixxer? Or should you get the Hornet instead? Well, I'll tell you outright, if you're a Honda fanboy, get the Hornet. I'm not a big fan of the Hornet. The Gixxer is a great motorcycle, is my personal preference in the segment. But then again, there is the Pulsar NS160 as well as the Apache 162 4-valve, by the way. So which one should you buy? Well, the Yamaha is more commuter oriented. This is the most expensive motorcycle in the segment. This one costs rupees 1.22 lakhs on road Mumbai, which makes it almost 6,000 more than the FZ. But this motorcycle has a soul, and of course, if you enjoy riding, this is the machine you should pick. Yes, Suzuki's wafer thin service network and service quality might not be great, but if you're in the metros and if you have a Suzuki service center around, then definitely this is the motorcycle you should choose. So guys, this is my vlog of the Suzuki Gixxer. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up. That's the like button, and also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. I love this bike. Bye bye.